Kira, Kira.
He know who I am, ain't had to say my name. Stack it up like Tetris, but this money ain't a game. Watashi kawaii, eat halada. Drinking out the bottle, getting twisted Maruchan. Big exotic herb, man, this a crop. Watch too expensive, ain't no way I'm getting clocked. So many carats, diamonds through the bunny hop. In the US or Japan, if he need me, he gone. I got yen for your friends, if they pretty. Going dumb and Madam Boo, pouring sake in they mouth. Hey, hey. I get money, I'm a star. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
お金稼ぐ俺らはスター。
お金稼ぐ私はスター。
スター、スター、スター、スター。キラ、キラ。
私はスター。Now I know my ladies in the crowd love their body.
Real hot girl.
And if you wanna keep loving your body, you know who to vote for.
Beat line, you know Lil Ju.
Hey, hey, hey. Yeah. Body crazy, curvy waist.
Yeah, yeah.
Body crazy, curvy waist. Look at how I body that. Ate it up and gave it back. Yeah, you look good, but they still wanna know. See me in that dress and he felt like he almost tasted that. Num 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 num, eat it up. Go play okay, 3, 2, 1. You know I'm the hottest, you ain't never got it. I'm present when I'm. What we talking about over here, y'all? Hey, if you love your body, let me hear you make some noise. And if you want to keep loving your body, ladies, let me hear you make some noise. Hey, body crazy, curvy weight.
Yeah, yeah.
Body crazy, curvy weight.
Yeah, yeah.
They gon' click it if it's me. All my pictures been getting these through the quarantine.
Yeah.
I'm very well, come on, as you can tell. Any got beef from years ago, it's beefing by herself.
On the real creep tip. Yeah.
Rule number 1,
Don't repeat that.
rule number 2, if they all came with you.
Yeah, yeah.
Make some noise
yeah.
now.
Whoa, whoa. Hey, 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 yeah. Yeah, yeah. Whoa.
Big
Whoa.
little weight.
Hey, hey, hey.
I need everybody in the crowd to make some noise for Miss Harris. Make some noise for Miss Harris. Our future president. Let's get this done, Atlanta. Let's get this done, Atlanta. Let me come over here and talk to y'all.
Will forever beat it.
Because the real savages don't get out there and vote.
I'm a savage.
Better too nasty. Talk big, but my bank account magic. Good, but I'm classy. Rich, but I'm ratchet. Haters kept my name in their mouth, now they gag.
Bullshit.
It's a movie. I told that bro we gotta keep it lonely. Me the room. I let the block and eyes hot. I'm too cheap. And I'm moving.
I'm a savage, yeah. Classy, bougie, ratchet, sassy, moody, nasty, yeah. Acting stupid, what's happening?
Let me hear you
What's
right
happening? I'm a savage, yeah. Classy, bougie, ratchet, yeah. Sassy, moody, nasty, yeah. Hacking, stupid, what's happening? What's happening? Like Beyonce,
Like me.
like me.
He wanna like the stagging with the knees. I told him.
Move it down, jeans.
Even D4L couldn't do it like me.
Like me.
Ooh, I need a mop to clean the floors to a strip. I keep a knot, I keep a watch, I keep it whipped. The play games, time is cause I'm still it. Hey, still it. Let me hear you.
I'm a savage. Classy, bougie, ratchet. Sassy, moody, nasty. Yeah. Acting stupid, what's happening? What's happening? I'm a savage. Yeah. Classy,
Let me see those hands,
bougie,
Atlanta.
ratchet. Yeah. Sassy, moody, nasty. Yeah.
Please welcome Quavo.
How y'all doing out there? How y'all doing? If y'all don't know me, I go by the name of Quavo. Born and raised in the north side of Atlanta, home of the Migos. This city has always been home to me, from playing in the streets and, you know, nurturing me and teaching me how to be the man I am standing before you. So, I mean, one of these issues that I care about is resolving the gun violence issue. And you can't understand the struggles of gun violence if you're not in the field or in the heart of it. So one thing I learned about working with Vice President Harris is she always stand on business. From inviting me, what's up, mama? From inviting me to the White House last year to discuss these solutions to passing the biggest gun safety laws to date. So it's only right in the birthplace of the culture. It's also the same place to launch the first African-American woman to run for president. Yeah, we changing the culture again. So if you never voted before, make sure you get out and vote right now, because it's the real one. And in the words of my brother Takeoff, let me get a Kamala. I'm going to hand it over to Tyler the Green. Let him talk about his vote and introduce the next president of the United States of America. Yes, sir.
Hello, everyone. Can you hear me? All right. My name is Tyler Green, and I am so honored to be introducing the next President of the United States of America, Vice President Kamala Harris. Just a second. Listen. As a proud Morehouse man, I couldn't be more excited to welcome a fellow HBCU alum back to the beautiful city of Atlanta. I first met the Vice President at the White House last year, where I shared my story as a young black entrepreneur. I talked about the challenges that I faced, the importance of investing in entrepreneurs of color, how we can work together to fight the climate change crisis, and the positive impact that the Biden-Harris administration has had on my communities. And it means so much to me to see a vice president leading with the same values of excellence, leadership, and service that our institutions instilled in us. Vice President Harris has spent every day of her career fighting for working people just like me. From her service as a district attorney, attorney general, and the United States the Senate. Not yet. To her leadership as Vice President, she has served and spent every day of her career serving and fighting for us, the people. To name just a few of these accomplishments, she's fought for historic investments into HBCUs, she's fought for student debt relief, she's fought for reproductive freedom, she's fought for entrepreneurs and climate leaders like me. And I know that when Georgia sends her to the White House again, she will continue to fight for us. There's so much at stake in this election. We know that we can't afford to let Donald Trump and J.D. Vance enact their extreme Project 2025 agenda on our communities and send us to the past. And that's what Trump wants to do. Trump wants to drag us back into the past. But just listen. We have a champion here with us tonight. And she is going to lead our country into the future. Now, it's my honor to introduce the next President of the United States, Kamala Harris.
Everyone. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you all. Thank you very much. Thank you, everybody. Oh, it's good to be back in Georgia. Thank you, everyone. Can we please hear it for Tyler? I want to thank Tyler for that incredible introduction. I invited him and several other young entrepreneurs to come and visit with me at the White House, and we had a really very long and important conversation about the future of America. And Tyler, you represent the best of our future. Thank you for that. Thank you. And please give it up for Quavo and Megan. So it is so good to see everyone. And let me also thank our incredible members of Congress who are with us this evening. Senator John Ossoff, Senator Raphael Warnock, and Representative Nikema Williams. To Mayor Andre Dickens, thank you for welcoming me back to Atlanta. And thank you to the great Stacey Abrams. So, Georgia, it is so good to be back, and I am very clear. The path to the White House runs right through this state. And you all helped us win in 2020, and we're going to do it again in 2024. Yes, we will. Yes, we will. So let's get right down. So I'm gonna get into some business now. Okay, I'm gonna get into some business now. All right. So Georgia, as many of you know, before, and have a seat if you have a chair. As many of you know, before I was elected vice president and before I was elected a United States Senator, I was an elected Attorney General and an elected District Attorney. And before that, I was a courtroom prosecutor. So in those roles, I took on perpetrators of all kinds. Predators who abused women. Fraudsters who ripped off consumers. Cheaters who broke the rules for their own gain. So hear me when I say, I know Donald Trump's type. I know the type. And I have been dealing with people like him my entire career. For example, as Attorney General of California, I took on one of our country's largest for-profit colleges that was scamming students. Well, Donald Trump ran a for-profit college that scammed students. As a prosecutor, I specialized in child sexual abuse cases and sexual abuse cases. Well, Trump was found liable for committing sexual abuse. And as an Attorney General, I held the big Wall Street banks accountable for fraud. Donald Trump, guilty of fraud, 34 counts. So in this campaign, I will proudly put my record against his any day of the week. Any day of the week. Including, for example, on the issue of immigration. So I was the Attorney General of a border state. In that job, I walked underground tunnels between the United States and Mexico on that border with law enforcement officers. I went after transnational gangs, drug cartels, and human traffickers that came into our country illegally. I prosecuted them in case after case, and I won. Donald Trump, on the other hand, has been talking a big game about securing our border, but he does not walk the walk. Or as my friend Quavo would say, he does not walk it like he talks it. Where's Quavo? So look, our administration worked on the most significant border security bill in decades. Some of the most conservative Republicans in Washington, D.C. supported the bill. Even the Border Patrol endorsed it. It was all set to pass. But at the last minute, Trump directed his allies in the Senate to vote it down. Right. He tanked bipartisan deal because he thought it would help him win an election. Which goes to show Donald Trump does not care about border security. He only cares about himself. And when I am president, I will work to actually solve the problem. So here is my pledge to you. As president, I will bring back the border security bill that Donald Trump killed, and I will sign it into law and show Donald Trump what real leadership looks like. But make no mistake, this campaign is not just about us versus Donald Trump. Truly, this campaign is about two very different visions for our nation. One focused on the future, the other focused on the past. We believe in a future where every person has the opportunity to build a business, to own a home, to build intergenerational wealth, a future with affordable health care, affordable child care, paid leave. And all of this is to say, building up the middle class will be a defining goal of my presidency. Because we here all know, when our middle class is strong, America is strong. And to keep our middle class strong, families need relief from the high cost of living so that they have a chance not just to get by, but to get ahead. And yes, it is true that by many indicators, our economy is the strongest in the world. But while inflation is down and wages are up, prices are still too high. You know it and I know it. And when we win this election, here's what we're going to do about it. On day one, I will take on price gouging and bring down costs. We will ban more of those hidden fees and surprise late charges that banks and other companies use to pad their profits. We will take on corporate landlords and cap unfair rent increases. And we will take on Big Pharma to cap prescription drug costs for all Americans. Our plan will lower costs and save many middle-class families thousands of dollars a year. But Donald Trump has a different plan in mind, one that would raise prices on middle-class families. Just look at his Project 2025 agenda. I take it you've seen it. Project 2025 is a plan to weaken the middle class. Be clear. And Donald Trump intends to cut Social Security and Medicare. He intends to give tax breaks to billionaires and big corporations. He intends to gut our investments in clean energy jobs. He intends to end the Affordable Care Act, to take us back to a time when insurance companies had the power to deny people with pre-existing conditions. You guys remember what that was? children with asthma, breast cancer survivors, grandparents with diabetes. Georgia, America has tried these failed policies before, and we are not going back. We're not going back. We're not going back. That's right. And we are not going back because ours is a fight for the future. And it is a fight for freedom. Across our nation, we are witnessing a full-on assault on hard-fought, hard-won freedoms and rights. The freedom to vote, the freedom to be safe from gun violence, the freedom to live without fear of bigotry and hate, the freedom to love who you love openly and with pride. The freedom to learn and acknowledge our true and full history. And the freedom of a woman to make decisions about her own body and not have her government tell her what to do. Ours is a fight for the future and for freedom. And I don't have to tell folks in Atlanta that generations of Americans before us led the fight for freedom. And now, the baton is in our hands. Each and every one of us. And we love our country. We love our country. And I believe it is the highest form of patriotism to fight for the ideals of our country. And so, we who believe in the sacred freedom to vote will finally pass the Freedom to Vote Act and the John Lewis Voting Rights Advancement Act. We who believe in the freedom to live safe from gun violence will finally pass universal background checks, red flag laws, and an assault weapons ban. We who believe in reproductive freedom will stop Donald Trump's extreme abortion bans, and when Congress passes a law to restore reproductive freedoms, as President of the United States, I will sign it into law. So November 5th is in 98 days. In 98 days, and let's level set. Friends, let's level set. We have a fight in front of us. We have a fight in front of us, and we are the underdogs in this race. We are. But you see, this is a people-powered campaign. Ours is a people-powered campaign. In fact, after I announced my candidacy, we saw the best week of grassroots fundraising in presidential campaign history. And if you go to KamalaHarris.com, you can help us build on that success. So the momentum in this race is shifting. And there are signs that Donald Trump is feeling it. You may have noticed. So last week, you may have seen, he pulled out of the debate in September he had previously agreed to. that. Here's the funny thing about that. So he won't debate, but he and his running mate sure seem to have a lot to say about me. And by the way, don't you find some of their stuff to just be plain weird? Well, Donald, I do hope you'll reconsider to meet me on the debate stage. Because as the saying goes, if you've got something to say, say it to my face. Georgia, in the next 98 days, we have our work cut out for us. And this is not going to be easy. This is hard work, but we like hard work. Hard work is good work. So, Georgia, today I ask you, are you ready to get to work? Do we believe in freedom? Do we believe in opportunity? Do we believe in the promise of America? And are we ready to fight for it? And when we fight, we win. God bless you. God bless the United States.
From Wilmington, Delaware, I'm Ryan Thompson, the Chief Mobilization Officer on the Harris campaign.
And I'm Victor Rubio Rivera, Deputy National Organizing Director. As Ryan mentioned, we're coming to you all live from Harris HQ following that incredible rally we all just watched in Atlanta. And look, folks, we have a great show for you tonight.
Not only are you going to hear from Vice President Harris herself, but also from two of the campaign's incredible surrogates, America Ferrera and Sterling K. Brown, as well as Dan Cannonen, Director of Battleground States, who will be here in studio presenting our path to victory and how we intend to win this thing in the fall. In addition to that, we have Elise Wade, the Georgia Democratic Coordinated Campaigns Training and Leadership Director, who will give you all the latest and greatest on ways you can get involved in this campaign. Because we need all of you to stay active and engaged in order to defeat Donald Trump and elect Vice President Harris. Before we get into the program, I wanted to make a quick pitch for the Vice President's merch store, store.kamalaharris.com, where exclusively for all of you, we are announcing 20% off if you use the discount code ORGANIZE at checkout. That's organized at checkout, folks. Look, we all know this election will be very close and decided by a small number of votes in just a few states. And as we just saw at that incredible rally in Atlanta, the momentum and energy for Vice President Harris is real. Supporters like you and all of us here on the Harris campaign are fired up to elect the vice president. Take a look at some of these stats. Since launching her campaign, we've already seen record-breaking fundraising, kudos to the team, and a surge of volunteers pouring into field offices across the battlegrounds. In just the past week, more than 3,600,000 new volunteers have joined Team Harris, which is like literally just incredible. And we are not taking any of that excitement for granted. This weekend, the campaign will be mobilizing thousands of grassroots supporters at events all over our battleground states, and you'll hear more about these events and ways to get involved later in the program.
It really has been an amazing last week for the Harris campaign. Over $200 million has been raised since President Biden's endorsement last Sunday, and 66% of that was from first-time donors, which shows a huge grassroots support for Vice President Harris. Not to mention receiving major endorsements from Barack and Michelle Obama, as well as young voters, voters of color, and many more leaders and advocates. Later in the show, Dan will talk more about our amazing coalition of voters.
The support from our winning coalition is huge, and the Democratic Party is united behind Vice President Harris's candidacy. That just 24 hours announcing her campaign, she earned enough delegates to become the expected nominee. And while the Harris coalition is unified and growing, Donald Trump and his campaign are like totally scrambling. J.D. Vance and his deep-seated disdain for women has been an historically unpopular VP pick. And hey, on top of all of that, Trump is now scared to debate Vice President Harris herself, which, as the VP pointed out just now, is quite the walk back from a guy who was previously talking about his willingness to debate anywhere, anytime.
Exactly. Look, it's an exciting time for sure, and we want all of you to know that we're going to build on this momentum. This weekend, dozens of surrogates are joining Team Harris on the campaign trail. And actually, speaking of surrogates, next up is the first of two amazing surrogates who are going to be joining us tonight. Please welcome to the show, America Ferrera.
Hi, Victor. Hi, Ryan.
Hey, America.
How's it going?
Thanks so much for having me. It's such an honor to be here tonight. It was so thrilling to listen to Kamala's speech just now at the rally. She's on fire. I'm so fired up to do everything in my power, as are so many of you out there, to elect VP Harris, our next president of the US. And it's just so great to get to speak directly with so many of you who are on the ground doing the actual work that wins elections. And it's, of course, quite a privilege to be able to speak on the call that our vice president, the former senator of my home state, California, and the next president of the United States is also going to speak on. I am here, I'm showing up, I'm in this fight because personally, I am the daughter of Honduran immigrants who left everything they knew to give me and my siblings a better future in the United States of America. To them, the USA represented opportunity, it represented justice, it represented a chance for more freedom. And I believe that I have a responsibility to honor those sacrifices of those who came before me by ensuring that those who come after me have at least the same opportunities and freedoms that I was granted. And I know Kamala Harris believes the same. And I know so many of you out there do as well. I want my children and your children to grow up in an America that's getting better for all of us, in an America that's moving forward, not backward. And as Vice President Kamala Harris has been saying all week, to chance, we will not go back. And what we do for the next roughly 100 days will define our future for generations to come. And the stakes are just too high for any of us to sit this one out. We know that under a Harris presidency, we're going to see progress on issues that matter to us: reproductive rights, affordable health care, child poverty, gun violence, and just increasing the chances of Americans to do more than just get by. And we also know what a Trump-Vance presidency looks like. We know that it's a disaster for just about everybody. For our daughters, for the LGBTQ+ community, for migrants, for our Black brothers and sisters, for all of our kids and our grandkids. And Donald Trump and J.D. Vance and their extremist MAGA friends will do what they say they will do. They will implement their Project 2025 agenda. We've seen what a Donald Trump presidency looks like, and we know another term would be even worse. So we're here, we're fighting for our future, and I just, from the bottom of my heart, with every cell in my being, I thank every single one of you for the work that you've done so far, for the work you will continue to do for 98 days. You can do anything for 98 days. Yes, you can. There's just too much at stake for any of us to be anything but all in on this election. So keep it up. Sign up every volunteer you can. Sign up to volunteer yourself at KamalaHarris.com. Tell your friends to do the same. I know what I'm going to be doing till November. So I just thank you all for your work. Thank you for having me. And I know you'll all enjoy hearing from Vice President Kamala Harris here in a little bit. So thanks so much.
Thank you so much, America. It was great to be with you. Thanks for speaking to our amazing supporters tonight and for all you do on behalf of this campaign.
Thanks, Ryan.
Of course. Next, I wanted to turn over to my dear colleague, Dan Cannon, who's going to talk us through how we're going to win this thing. Dan is the director of Battleground States on the campaign. Dan, I'm so excited you're here.
Ryan,
Welcome.
I'm glad to be here. Thanks for having me here. Thanks so much. And hey, everybody, I'm just so very excited to talk to you about the path to victory for Vice President Kamala Harris. We are seeing enormous enthusiasm for the Vice President's campaign. This past Saturday and Sunday, we held a weekend of action to mark 100 days until the election, and I know that many of you were a part of it. We'll talk more about the weekend and the enthusiasm on the ground in just a bit, but for now, just know this was the biggest mobilization on the campaign to date. Here at Harris HQ, we are focused on rebuilding our winning coalition of voters, and we are not taking any votes for granted. In particular, there are several key constituencies in the Democratic base with whom Vice President Harris has well-documented support. Black voters, Latino voters, AA and HPI voters, women, and young voters. We are also working on expanding the support from the 2020 Biden-Harris coalition. Since 2020, many of those voters have come out in support of Democrats as Donald Trump's Republican Party grew more and more extreme. But here's the good news. We win with these voters where it matters, on the issues and on character. We know that each of these core voter groups care about issues like reproductive rights, upholding the rule of law, and Donald Trump's criminal convictions. And these issues are exactly where Vice President Kamala Harris has been leading the charge for her entire career. They are also undecided voters who we are ready to persuade. About 7% of the voters remain undecided in this race, and these voters are importantly disproportionately Black, Latino, and under the age of 30. They are more likely to have supported the Biden-Harris ticket in 2020, and they are 2 times more likely to be Democrats than Republicans. So it's this campaign's job to win these voters, and we know that we can. We have a clear advantage on issue and character. Importantly, we have the opportunity to introduce and define Vice President Harris to so many of these voters, and we can reach them with your help by having impactful conversations and inviting everyone we know to join the fight. And finally, I know you're all waiting for it, the electoral map. Vice President Harris enters a tight race, but it's clear that she can bring together a coalition of voters to keep multiple pathways to 270 electoral college votes in play. And while we are working hard in the blue wall states of Michigan, Wisconsin, and Pennsylvania, we are also competing in the Sun Belt states of North Carolina, Georgia, Arizona, and Nevada, among others. We intend to play offense in each of these states, and we have the support, the resources, and the campaign infrastructure to do so. Speaking of that infrastructure, let's talk about the advantages that we have in that department right now. In our battleground states, we have hired over 1,300 coordinated campaign staff and opened over 250 coordinated campaign offices. The coordinated campaign has an organizing program that's on track to knock 3 million doors in July and August alone. And we have you, the best team of volunteers a campaign could ask for. And we're not done. This team is constantly growing. Everywhere Vice President Harris goes, enthusiasm follows. You just saw that in Atlanta tonight. We've all seen that over the past 9 days. She's capturing the attention of the nation, persuading voters, and setting the internet and arenas on fire. The levels of excitement we've seen for her candidacy are unprecedented. Since President Biden endorsed her last Sunday, you heard Victor say this, we've raised over $200 million, 2/3 of which comes from new donors. And as Ryan mentioned, we've had 360,000 folks sign up to volunteer since last Sunday. That number was 170,000 folks heading into the weekend of action, and then it grew by nearly 200,000 just those past couple days alone. And just this past week, the campaign experienced 6 of its top 10 days of volunteer activity. We closed off this historic first week with that 100 days weekend of action, where we had over 29,000 volunteer shifts completed. And during the weekend, Team Harris engaged tens of thousands of voters at over 2,300 events in the battleground states. Let me say that number again, 2,300 events just this weekend. Turnout was unprecedented. They knocked over 126,000 doors. They made more than 768,000 phone calls. And these volunteers were all across the battleground map in rural areas and urban communities. In rural South Central Pennsylvania, over 300 voters joined an event with Governor Shapiro. In Florida, 300 golf carts paraded around the Villages, a conservative community that's been pretty pro-Trump until now. And in suburban Las Vegas, more than 300 people showed up to our first volunteer mobilization event with Congressman Max Frost. Before I turn it back to you, Ryan, and our next special guest, I want everyone on this call to take away two things from this Path to Victory discussion. First, this is going to be an incredibly close election, but this campaign has been designed from the jump to win close elections across all the toss-up states. We expect it, and we are prepared for it. And second, the work that you all do with our teams on the ground is how we win. The combination of that preparation to build the team at scale and then your enthusiasm is how we get it done. It's going to be close. It's going to be a tough race, but together we will do this. I want to thank you all for turning out and tuning in and continue to show up. So Ryan, back to you.
Thank you so much, Dan. You know, the volunteer turnout has been nothing short of extraordinary. On that note, I wanted to bring Elise Wade, Georgia's Coordinated Campaign Training and Leadership Director, to talk to us more about what we're seeing with volunteers on the ground and how everyone on this call can get involved. Elise?
Thank you so much, Ryan. Hello, everyone. I'm so excited to be with all of you on this call tonight and to talk about what I the most, and that is organizing. So these past 9 campaign, and that really says something because I was part of the team that had the honor to flip Georgia blue in 2020. This weekend alone, I got to be out in the field with hundreds of thousands of volunteers just like you, doing the work to get Kamala Harris elected as president of these United States. The organizing comes in all different forms, shapes, and actions. So this weekend at the Atlanta office, we hosted a bingo-themed phone bank. And it's an idea that was originated by one of our phenomenal organizers, Jessica Finch. So volunteers were able to make hundreds of phone calls and enjoyed hitting bingo while having impactful conversations about the Kamala Harris promise, about the Biden-Harris administration accomplishments, and about the hope that the vice president brings out and ignites in with supporters of all backgrounds and ages. One volunteer even highlighted a conversation that they had with a young person that committed their very first vote to Kamala Harris this upcoming November. So this campaign has been making history all week, and I know that it will be the enthusiasm and the support of grassroots supporters like all of us here that make history again this fall to elect Kamala Harris to be our next president of the United States. So I have been following Kamala Harris for a while, and I am deeply honored to rally behind the woman who worked alongside President Biden to pass the PACT Act. That guaranteed and expanded benefits for veterans who were exposed to toxins during their service. I come from a military family where my parents have a total of over 120 combined years of service to our country. So for me, this is deeply personal. Kamala Harris's candidacy means that we are working to elect a fighter for justice, for equity, and for fairness, especially among and veterans like my parents. We are history in the making. And that's why it's so important to me that we keep Georgia blue this year and send Vice President Harris back to the White House, but this time as our president. But we all know that that is going to take some work, and we have to organize. So join me in the fight. This race is still neck and neck, and we need every single one of you to sign up tonight to get involved to make sure that we can win. If you're living in a battleground state, we need you to sign up to knock doors in your community this weekend. We need you to bring fans and family with you to a campaign event and get them involved. If you're living outside of one of our battleground states, we need you to make calls and send text into battleground states. If you have family and friends who are undecided voters or that don't always vote, we need you to talk with them, have serious conversations about the stake of this election. If you're active online, we need you to join us, get involved in digital organizing, organize with us online. So what I want you to do is visit kamalaharris.com/organize to sign up to volunteer and find events near you. We know that organizing wins elections. So let's win this thing, y'all. I cannot wait to see you in the field. Thanks so much. Back to you, Ryan and Victor.
Thank you so much, Elise. It's so helpful to learn about all the ways folks can get involved in this campaign. And now we turn to the special guest of the night, Vice President Harris. We know you're on with us. Good evening to you.
Hi, everyone. Hi, everyone. And Victor and Ryan, thank you for all the work that you've been doing on behalf of our campaign, because this, I don't know if folks saw me, I just gave a speech. I'm here in Atlanta, but this is truly a people-powered campaign. And I thank everyone for joining us for this call and for being a part of just loving our country and knowing that to achieve the ideals, we all have to be active and involved. And I know we have volunteers and organizers from around the country who have joined this call. And I hope you could feel the energy in the room here in Atlanta. It was really incredible. And it's about the energy of our campaign. This is our campaign. And I feel so very strongly, our campaign is about building community. Our campaign is about building coalition. Our campaign is about everyone from every walk of life, every age coming together to understand we all have so much more in common than what separates us, and that we are collectively, because of our love of our country, prepared to fight for the best of who we are. And I can say that a weekend, I think that we have great momentum, and in large part, it has to do with everybody who's on this call and all that you are doing to organize. In fact, just this past week, over 360,000 people signed up to volunteer. And us being a people-powered campaign means that with our power and with us continuing to grow and to connect each other and to connect folks that may be perfect strangers today, but will be friends tomorrow. All that kind of work and that spirit of that work means we're going to win in November. And I know many of us have been involved in these elections every 4 years, and almost every time we say this is the one, well, this year is the one. It's probably the most existential, consequential, and important election of our lifetime. And I think we all know it, which is why you all are on this call. And we are prepared, all of us, to fight for our future. And that's what this is about. So November 5th is in 98 days, and early voting, just as important, is around the corner. In Arizona, early voting starts in 71 days. In Michigan, mail-in voting starts in 58 days. And in North Carolina, absentee ballots will be sent in just 38 days. So we got a lot of work to do, and we have enough time to get it done, but not an extra amount of time, just enough time. So listen, this is a sprint, and we know what we need to do to cross the finish line. We need to knock on doors. We need to register voters. We need to text our friends and family members and coworkers and make sure they know how much is at stake in this moment. And again, make sure they know that they're not alone, that we're all in this together, So to everyone on this call, I'll say, listen, it's going to be hard work. We are the underdog. It's going to be hard work. And we like hard work. And hard work is good work. So let's get to it. And let's energize and organize and mobilize and fight for freedom and for the future of our nation. And let's remember, as I always say, when we fight, we win. So everyone, please take care, and I hope to see you out there. And thank you again.
Thank you so much, Madam Vice President. We'll see you out there on the trail. Have a good night now.
Thanks.
That's not it, y'all. We have another amazing surrogate coming up.
Yeah, that's right, Ryan. This show is completely stacked, so please welcome surrogate for the Harris campaign. Apologies, Sterling K. Brown. Welcome.
What's going on? Thank you, gents. Good evening, everyone. It's tough to follow our vice president and the next president of the United States, Kamala Harris, but I'm going to give it a shot. I wanted to join you all this evening because we don't have a minute to waste between now and the election. You just heard from the campaign about all the ways you can get engaged. Now is the time. Do not wait, because what was true last month is true today. This election will be close, decided on the margins. And it's going to take all of us putting in the work to win. You know, something else is true, too. The energy behind our candidate is real. You just saw it in Atlanta when she said, "So, Donald, if you got something to say it to my face." I felt that in my bones, okay? You can feel it on this call. In a matter of days, Vice President Harris has electrified and unified Americans of all backgrounds. My wife, who is a proud member of Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated, is all in for an AKA. That may not mean something to a lot of you, but for those of you who know, it's huge. It's about a vision of America. It's about a vision of America that includes everyone, no matter their means or their background. And I would be remiss if I didn't say including Sonia Massey. It's about building on the progress of the last 4 years, continuing the work to grow an economy that works for everyone. Excuse me, my son keeps calling me. Do not disturb. Thank you and thank you.
Do not disturb is already on.
There you go. It's about building on the progress of the last 4 years, continuing the work to grow an economy that works for everyone, to lower prescription drug costs, to confront the climate crisis, and keep weapons of war off our streets and out of our schools. It's about the freedom of a woman to make her own decisions about her own body. It's about the kind of future we want for our children, including my son who keeps interrupting my Zoom, where our differences are appreciated and celebrated, where fear is replaced by curiosity, where that which unites us is infinitely more important than that which divides us. Donald Trump wants to take our country backward, back to a time before many Americans had full freedoms and rights, back to the time of failed trickle-down economics that left the middle class behind. But Kamala Harris and the Democrats have a vision for a brighter future and a record of getting things done. So when we go to the polls this fall, we'll have a choice to make. That choice is clear to me. I'm for more rights, not fewer. More opportunity, not less. I'm looking forward, not back. That's why I'm all in for Vice President Harris. So thank you all for being a part of this team, for doing the work and fighting for a brighter future. I'm excited for the work ahead alongside all of you to make Vice President Harris the next president of these United States. Thank you, and God bless.
Thank you, Sterling. Thank you, Ryan. I see you back there, too. That was awesome. All right, folks, we're wrapping up here in Wilmington, and we really want to thank the incredible speakers tonight, Sterling, America, Elise, as well as my dear colleague, Dan Cananan, for being here and sharing with you our path to victory. We especially want to thank the Vice President for spending time with us tonight, right after she got off that incredible rally in Atlanta. And lastly, of course, we want to thank all of you for being supporters in our movement and during this call. As everyone mentioned, there's so much excitement here at Team Harris. We know there is a ton of work to do, but we are inspired by all of you and the effort you've already put into elect Vice President Harris. I know that together we will win.
Exactly. It really is an exciting time here at Team Harris. Thank you all so much for your support. And as Elise mentioned, please visit kamalaharris.com/organize. That's kamalaharris.com/organize to sign up, to volunteer, find an event near you. There are many ways to get involved, and we need your support. We genuinely cannot do this without y'all. And like Vice President Harris always says, when we fight, we win. Amen. So keep it up, and good night, y'all.
Good night, y'all. Thank you.
Just over 100 days stand between us and a fundamental choice about the future of the United States of America. So if we want to live up to the promise of America, the promise of freedom, opportunity, and justice, then we have to organize. Your enthusiasm and grassroots support have made history. That is why we are kicking off a weekend of action to donate, make calls, and knock on doors. And we need you, every one of you, because we are a people-powered campaign, and we need everyone to roll up their sleeves. So I ask, are we ready to get to work? And I know what the answer is. So please get involved at kamalaharris.com. Let's win this.